Alrighty, welcome back to the J Center podcast. Happy New Year. Owen Hill and Jesse Burrell with you here. Jesse, it's been a quiet time in Blue Jays land. We're in the dog days of winter, as I like to call it. Just opened up the new year, and how was your holiday season? How's your new year going? Just generally.
Holidays were good. I did get a lot of baseball themed items for Christmas. It was a good wrap up, tie into the end of what was probably the best baseball fan watching season I've had in my life. So that was very good. The A's were the only team that got a good Christmas gift with Tyler Soderstrom getting that big extension there. The Blue Jays, not so much, but that's okay, Owen. The calendar flips. We're into January now. We are officially into the start of 2026. And let me tell you, I feel like I say this every year, but now it's starting to feel like this season is even closer. And now that we're into the next month of the year, it's starting to get that butterfly feeling, no matter how much snow and cold is on the ground out here right now. So I'm excited. How about yourself?
Yeah, me too, man. Sorry. I think that like the new year, January 1st, every like year is kind of when I'm like, okay, the 2026 season starting, it's time to put 2025 behind us. And it's going to be hard to put 2025 behind us. Like, I think that was for a lot of Jays fans, and like myself included, was kind of like proof of concept a little bit that like, man, like this team is everything that they say they want to be. And like, it's like a premium organization of baseball, talking about the Jays, obviously. And it was just so much fun to be a Jays fan in 2025. So it's a little bit sad to turn the page, but there's a lot that I'm excited about going into 2026. And I think the roster is if not better than last year already, has a really good chance to be, depending on how some free agency stuff shakes out, right?
Yeah, you could argue on paper that this might be the best team the Blue Jays have maybe ever had going into a season. If just everyone who played last year plays to anywhere close to their potential, some of the additions that we have, we get a impact piece from the minors or an unexpected source like we got last year, and then there's no reason why the Blue Jays shouldn't win this division again. And maybe since like the 2021-2022 season, you weren't really confident the Blue Jays were going to go into the season as division champions. And as we're going to get into in this episode here, as we look around the rest of the AL East, the Blue Jays still, I think, are in the driver's seat here. Like, they still are the team to beat in this division, no matter what everyone else in the league is doing. And that's a good feeling. And plus, too, Owen, like the Blue Jays played till November 1st this year for Game 7 of the World Series. We have the World Baseball Classic coming up this year. And then also traditional opening day is like March 26th or something, the last Friday, which is the earliest traditional opening day they've ever had. So this offseason is going to fly, man. And we're going to have baseball here quicker than we know it, which is great.
It's already flying, and there's already like, I feel like it's been like fairly quiet. And the fact that it's already like January 2nd as we sit here and record this, and there's some massive names, like the biggest names on the market on the position player side, even a lot on the pitching side as well, are still available. So like, we're gonna have a busy new year. Hopefully it ends up coming to some conclusions on these free agent deals soon, like Kyle Tucker, Bichette, Alex Bregman need to find homes. I'm excited to see where Framber Valdez ends up. Like, there's a lot of guys on this market still, right?
And I think, look, if you look at those top four names, and we'll get into those four names here, between Bregman, Bellinger, Tucker, and Bichette, I think the odds are almost like 80% the Blue Jays end up with one of them still, which is quite exciting, knowing that it's already been one of the best off seasons the Blue Jays have ever had as a franchise, and knowing we should at least, or the odds are favorable that we're going to get one of these guys too, just kind of puts that nail in the coffin that it's going to be a great winter for us.
Yeah, and I think if they enter the season, they enter 2026 without adding one of those guys, I think it'll be a big disappointment for like pretty much the entire fan base. And I think that like is maybe a little bit unfair. Like the Jays have spent more money than any other team in baseball so far this offseason. And the fact that we're sitting here saying like there's an 80% chance they get one of the top 4 position players, that's kind of crazy to say out loud. And at the same time, like I'm not gonna say it's not true, right? Because like all the signs are pointing to the fact that, or not the fact, but like the idea that the Jays are gonna get one of these guys, that the Jays are in on all of these guys, talking about Bregman, Bellinger, Tucker, and Bichette. And to be honest, like, do they need one of those guys? Like the lineup like obviously we saw them perform in October without Bichette, and then Bichette coming back in the World Series, obviously made the Jays a way better team. And it's a different beast over 162 versus a playoff run, right? At the same time,
Mhm.
though, like I have a hard time seeing how somebody might not feel confident going into this season.
Right. And like, look, you can make the argument the Blue Jays went on the run without Bichette. Bichette was phenomenal all year. Like, and he's done it over the course of the season. Before I was watching some of the World Series highlights overnight while I was working last night, which still hurts in a way, but I was doing it. And I was watching specifically, like, how did Bichette look at second base? And we have that one play in particular where he ranged over the bag, he threw it across the first, but there was even others just through routine ground balls. It's like, he looked good there. Bichette was very important. And I agree with you. Like, if the Blue Jays ran this roster that we currently have, they're probably fine. But like, anything can happen in baseball. We've seen good teams miss the playoffs before. Looking at you, New York Mets, it can happen pretty common. And the Blue Jays, the last thing they want is to end up in that situation this year. So get more, just increase your floor just in case, somebody gets hurt, has to miss 2 months, just in case you get some bad performance somewhere, just in case one of your pitchers fall apart, that you still have it and you can still get there. Because once you're in the dance, and that's all that really matters, then you have a chance to get going.
Absolutely, man. Okay, so I think that's a fun little intro.
Yes.
I think last time we talked was before the Tyler Rogers signing, wasn't it? Am I wrong on that? Yeah,
Sounds
so
right. Yes.
I think we need to just really quickly. I know it's kind of dead news at this point, but I want to hear your thoughts on the signing. It was 37 mil over 35-year-old reliever, submariner, funky guy. Not many pitchers like him in baseball anymore. Overall thoughts, Jesse? Like, Tyler Rogers is the Blue Jay. I'm pretty excited, but what do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when the offseason began and we're looking at the names of relievers that were available, a lot of Blue Jays fans jumped, and me included, jumped to like Edwin Diaz. We see that 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Robert Suarez, who has got 30-plus saves in 2 of the last 3 seasons, 3 of the last 2 seasons. I'm not sure. Tyler Rogers was one of those names that, like, yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be nice. He had a good year last year, but I don't think any of us really thought of it that way as a fit for the Blue Jays. And we all should have been, because, of course, it's so obvious for what the Blue Jays are trying to do here. Reduce the contact. We've talked a lot that the Blue Jays bullpen last year gave up way too many home runs. Well, Tyler Rogers does not give up the long ball. I think he gave up 1 in the second half last year. And if I remember correctly, it was an inside the park home run. So the ball just doesn't go over the fence against him. It's really cool. It's going to work. My theory in baseball is that the more weird a pitcher is, and I use weird in a good way, like the more success you can have, because a lot of pitchers kind of come from the same kind of delivery arm slot. That's why Chris Sale was nasty, but he came from that low left side arm slot slung across, right, which made him effective for a long time. We saw it with Trey Savage with the big high arm slot, and Tyler Rogers can work too, coming down from the bottom. And I think being weird and being funky, being deceptive gives you more of an advantage. And we saw Tyler Rogers play into that well. And I'm not as concerned about the age. I'm not as concerned about the contract, because he has this trick per se. And as long as the trick keeps tricking people, then I think he's going to be an absolutely great addition to this bullpen.
I agree. I think he is going to be like a pretty easy guy to just slot right into a 7th inning. I don't think you really have to play matchups with him too much. Obviously, he's better against righties than lefties, coming from that low right-handed arm slot, like a legit submarine arm slot. One of the lowest in baseball, I believe. So I think he'll be able to slot in to the bullpen fairly easily. Like, he's gonna get results, and that's all he's done the last few years is get results. He had a sub-2 last year in almost 80 innings as a reliever. Like, he is a very, very good pitcher, right? The only thing that concerns me a little bit is that it's a gimmick, right? And I don't know how much gimmicks play in the AL East. Like, it's one thing to do that as a member of the Giants in that massive ballpark in San Francisco. And then he wasn't as good as a Met. Of course, he finished the season with a sub-2, right? So, like, he wasn't that bad as a Met either. But, like, I think the AL East is a little bit of a different beast when it comes to that sort of thing. And I do, until I see it, I'm going to be a little bit skeptical. Just like whenever a pitcher comes into the AL East, I'm always a little bit skeptical. Like, I had this kind of take with Sonny Gray coming to the Red Sox, right? Where it's like, oh, like he had a really good year, but like the AL East is different, right? And these ballparks are smaller, the lineups are better, and I have a hard, well, not a hard time, but I'm a little bit worried about Tyler Rogers trying to gimmick his way through AL East lineups late in games, right?
Yeah, my theory is I like the gimmick as a good thing, and like I think it works until it doesn't. Once the guys kind of figure it out, like I'm worried if you. The thing is with Rogers too, like I don't think you can plug him into the TrackMan machine because the stuff is so weird, and because his slider seems to move upwards because he's coming from such a unique arm slot. So like that's why it's worked. That's why he's put up, almost 10 WAR in his 7-year career, right? And if it can keep working, it's fine. It's just you do run the risk that once hitters can figure this out, it can go bad very quickly. But, if I was to make a bet on it, I would bet that it would continue just because you simply just don't see this. Like Adam Simber threw like this, and then you might have to go back to like Chad Bradford way back in the mid 2000s to find a guy who threw like this. And both of them had put up good seasons at times, but when it did fall apart, it really fell apart. So, location is going to be very key for Tyler Rogers here. And I think he only walked like 7 batters in his 70 innings last year. So as long as that can continue and he can keep the ball off the barrel of the bat, I'm quite optimistic about this. I don't think it'll fall apart until maybe later in his deal.
Yeah, and I think that's where I want to end up on this take too, is I think year one for sure, he's probably going to be pretty good, pretty effective as we get a little bit deeper into the contract. And he makes his way around the circuit a couple more times. I might get a little bit worried about it. And that was the thing that didn't frustrate me, but like you look at the price point, like 37 mil over 3 years, that's a hefty contract for a reliever. And
that's
for a
closer
guy
money.
That exactly, that's closer money.
Yeah.
And I wish like they would have taken that money and signed a dude that threw 100. And maybe it comes with more walks and more homers. But like I don't know, when I build a bullpen, like I just want to stuff other teams to death. I want swing and miss. And Tyler Rogers is the opposite of that. At the same time, if he gives me 75 innings this year and puts up a 2.5 ERA or something along those lines, like, yeah, I'll be okay with it. I'll find a way to stomach that, obviously,
yes.
because he is nasty and he has shown that he has an ability to do that, right? So, no, I don't think it's a bad signing. I think maybe I would have liked it at a little bit cheaper. At the same time, it's not my money to spend. And it doesn't seem like the Jays are really concerned about money at this point. Like they're kind of just spending it like it's gonna burn a hole in their pockets. So yeah, if this took away from potential Bo Bichette, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker, Cody Bellinger, then that'd be frustrating. Doesn't seem like that's the case at this point, though, right?
Yeah. And that's how I feel about these big extensions, maybe these quote unquote overpays. Like if an overpay prevents you from doing something else, then it is a bad move. Like I remember in the mid 2000s, the Vernon Wells extension really hindered the Blue Jays from making other moves, right? But this is not that front office. This is not that team. We're well above the luxury tax. We're going to keep going. Edward Rogers saw all the money that he made during that postseason run. And he's like, oh, you mean we can do this again every single year? All we got to do is lump out some money one off season? Then yeah, absolutely. Give that up. And going back to your point about getting the bullets, the guys who throw 100 and the guys who can outstuff you to death because you need a strikeout at the biggest moment. I agree with you. I think the Blue Jays want to give a little more different looks here. I remember the Tampa Bay Rays when they were winning 100 plus games a season. Their bullpen had a whole bunch of different guys, different looks. And I think what the Blue Jays saw with going through a 7-game series against the Mariners and a 7-game series against the Dodgers, that they saw a lot of the same guys. Like Louis Varland's still probably warming up in the bullpen. And it's like they've seen a bunch of the guys and there's the familiarity effect. So I think the Blue Jays kind of want to take advantage of how few looks they get at each individual and how different it can be. And I think that may be some of the rule that drew them to Tyler Rogers. So I'm very excited to see him in spring, and I'm very excited to see how this will work this year.
No, me too. I'm super excited about it. And by the way, back to that Louis Varland comment there. If you want a free like from me on Twitter, tweet that Louis Varland is warming up bullpen, because I'm liking that every time. That is one of my favorite bits from 2025. I can't lie. I love that. But yeah, I agree. I think Tyler Rogers, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm excited to see all of the overlays with Trey Savage's high arm slot and his low arm slot. And I agree. Like the different looks coming out of a bullpen is something that we've seen the Jays do to some success in the past. They don't have a history like this front office doesn't really have a history of great bullpens. Like the 2023 season, I think, was a pretty solid bullpen, but like other than that, it's been pretty shaky. So I'm hoping that 2026 is maybe the year where it all comes together, it all clicks. The bullpen is kind of in unison with a strong starting rotation and lineup. Obviously, we're gonna hope for that sort of thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited about Rogers.
And I do want to talk too. It seems like Jeff Hoffman now is going to be the closer, like confirmed. There was some talk early this offseason too about maybe the Jays would look to increase on that. I don't think there's anybody really left that could supplant Jeff Hoffman as a closer. And if you look at our bullpen as a whole now, Owen, like it's quite old. Like there are some old players in here. Garcia, Hoffman, Rogers, Tommy Nance, Eric Lauer, and if you put like Jose Barrios in there, all of them are on the wrong side of 30, every single one of them. Brendan Little will be 30 over the course of the season this year. And that means like Louis Varland is now your youngest guy at the bullpen. Now you could say like Braden Fisher will get up there, who's a little younger. Mason Fluharty's younger, which will get up there. But there's a lot of guys on the wrong side of 30 on that bullpen. So which Father Time is undefeated. So it's something to worth monitoring.
Yeah, I think there's enough turnover in a bullpen. Forget like any like year over year, like just within a season. I'm not too worried about how old they are. If bullpen guys aren't performing, like that's the easiest like group to get off of. Like you saw it with Chad Green, right? Like they had no problem DFAing him this season, and he was making real money. He was making like 12 million a year or something like that. Obviously prorated because he got let go in the middle of the season, but. Like, I don't really worry about the age in the bullpen, and like that goes without mentioning. Like, there aren't a lot of names coming up, but like Ricky Tiedemann, I think should be a big part of that bullpen. I think he should have every opportunity to earn a spot as one of those lefties in that pen. And like, there's names like TJ Brock out there that people think are ready to contribute as early as 2026. So I think that the age comment it is true. There are a lot of older guys. But that also means there are a lot of guys that have done it. So I don't really mind that. I don't know if I hate that.
Yeah, and we can't forget about the 2 Rule 5 guys that they might have floating back there as well. That might factor into this bullpen. There's going to be a lot of names. No team in baseball gets through the season with 8 relievers. So the Blue Jays will be very much in that camp. And you know, they have a lot of guys. That's the thing. Like we keep saying the Blue Jays should add to the bullpen. And that's true. They probably should and probably will add another name as we get through spring training here. But Blue Jays have a lot of guys that I think on most teams in baseball would be in their bullpen. Like Paxton Schultz should be in a big league bullpen somewhere. He won't be here. I still think the Yariel Rodriguez decision to move him off the 40-man is tough. And if he was on any other team, I think he would still be on a major league roster. So the Blue Jays have guys and that they will mess around until they find that perfect recipe. And now that might take till August, September, until they find their core group of guys, right? Because bullpen performance is so variable. It can matter so much. One bad week can really set your numbers aside. So we will have to see how that goes, but I'm confident there is a recipe for success somewhere within that bullpen. And giving John Schneider more looks or more cracks or darts at the dartboard, I suppose, can give him the chance to put this all together.
Yeah, I think it's a really good problem to have that there's a lot of good guys. You saw them DFA Justin Brule. Like I think Justin Brule actually. I don't think he's going to be like a premier lefty in the big leagues by any means, but like I really liked what I saw from him. Like, and he was a guy getting outs against the Yankees in the playoffs for the Blue Jays. Like, and he's a guy that they just DFA'd. So I think it's a really good problem to have. And I'm certainly not going to complain about the Jays having too many good guys. I think that is a lot of bullpen talk for early January.
Welcome to the new year. Here we are, bullpen.
Let's take a look around the league just a little bit. We kind of alluded to the big name free agents. Something that I've been interested in. I don't know how much like you're scrolling on Twitter these days and like reading all the headlines, but there's been some smoke with the Jays, kind of linked to Alex Bregman. I think it was Mark Feinsand said that the Jays and the Diamondbacks of all teams seem to be the 2 most aggressive teams for Bregman. I think that's interesting. Like Bregman is not really high on, or not really in the top 2 on my list of free agents I'd like to see the Jays go after. But I think like I just want to know what you think if that's something you'd be interested in.
Yeah, my first thought too was when I first saw this is like this does seem like smoke or mirrors. The Blue Jays have probably checked in on Alex Bregman as they check in on almost everybody, right? In theory, you can see why this would be a good fit. His contact rates are quite high. The defense at third base is incredible. Both are two things that the Blue Jays have shown they have liked. But I'm with you, man. I thought last year him going to Fenway was probably the best fit. He's 36 years old now. No, he's 31. He's younger than I
31.
thought. Yeah. But he doesn't like, for as much home runs as he gets to, he doesn't really hit the ball very far. Like a lot of his exit velocity numbers, a lot of his like home run distance don't really carry. That's why I thought like the Fenway Park in Boston would be such a great fit for him because he can play pepper with that green monster. But he only hit 18 home runs in 430 at bats last year. And, the OPS has been solid around the 800 mark the last few seasons, but you're starting to see this number go down for Bregman more than rise. Like, I think he's still going to be okay. I think he's still going to be a solid major league player. But if you are giving him the 30 plus million a season that he's probably looking for, like, I don't think that's the best way for the Blue Jays to go about it, especially because we have guys already that can play third base and can probably do it quite well. It doesn't seem like the smartest choice to put all the money towards Alex Bregman. So, I think it's kind of smoke and mirrors. Maybe there's another team out there that is, if they're scared that the Blue Jays are bidding, has to increase their offer. And he's a Boris client, right? Boris has done this type of thing in the past. So maybe there's something going on there. But yeah, my first thought, kind of smoke and mirrors here with Alex Bregman.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And when this kind of stuff comes out and it's reports that are saying so-and-so team is being super aggressive on so-and-so free agent, you always kind of have to look at it and be like, okay, who wanted this information out there? And
Exactly.
in this situation, like Alex Bregman and his camp wanted this information out there because they probably want the Red Sox, if I had to guess, or a team like the Red Sox, maybe it's the Dodgers, maybe it's the Yankees. I have no idea. But they probably wanted one of those teams to up their offers. They want those teams to see, and they want the fans to see that there is smoke with Bregman and other teams, right? So yeah, I think like Bregman would not be a bad ad for the Blue Jays. I do not think he should be the priority. Like I agree, all the stuff you mentioned there, like the power numbers are declining quickly. He's a guy that I don't think a lot of people think is going to age very well, and I doubt he wants another one of those pillow like gap year contracts like he just signed with the Red Sox with like high AV and then opt outs. Like I think this is probably Bregman's payday, and I don't know if I want to be the team that gives him like what's it going to take 4, 5, 6 years? Like I think I'm good on that, right?
Yeah, I was gonna add if he will take another one of those pillow contracts, like 2 years for like 40 million a season, then I'd like that a lot more. But I'm with you. It doesn't seem like Bregman's 31. He'll be 32 going into the season. Like he wants his paycheck. Like it's time. Find that spot where he can pitch for the rest of the season. I do like though that he's really good at pulling the ball in the air. Its pull air rate is kind of one of my new favorite pet stats they have up there, and it's how you can get more home runs out of the bat. But he's still really good at that. But I'm with you, Owen. I think I'm out. But if you're the Blue Jays here, there's no downside in having you linked to this player, right? Because if the Blue Jays are going to sign him or not, if agents think you are, or if the public perception thinks you are, like there's no downside here for the Toronto Blue Jays. So that's why you haven't seen them come out and be like, no, we're not interested in Alex Bregman. We're not going to do that. So yeah, let it ride. Let the people talk. Let the media talk. And if you can get an agent that's scared, or you can get another team to overbid or overplay for this player, that indirectly does benefit the Blue Jays in the long run. So I think that's where we're at with Bregman.
Well, and the other way you can look at it too is maybe Bichette's camp sees this, or it's Kyle Tucker. They see this and they're like, oh, like I don't want to lose my biggest suitor in the Blue Jays. The Jays are said to have like it's all smoke and mirrors at this point. Nothing is real until a contract is signed. Okay. Like I don't want to be like hyping up that the Jays are definitely getting one of these guys, but like by all accounts, the Blue Jays seem to be in the best position to offer a combination of dollars and term to a guy like Kyle Tucker and or Bichette. Okay. So maybe if those camps see that the Blue Jays are being aggressive towards Bregman as well, maybe that kind of kicks them into gear and making them want to get a deal done with the Jays earlier, right? So maybe the Jays are putting this out. All that to say is you got to be careful when this kind of stuff comes out. I think there's really not much going on, and it's kind of a dead period media-wise, and I think that's why we're getting some of these stories not breaking, but kind of coming out now. And like Bregman would be a fun Blue Jay probably, but maybe not my top choice.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Out of the big four free agents, he's firmly fourth for me. And at that point, I'd rather go some of the other routes for some of the other people there.
100%. Okay, so some stuff that has actually happened.
Yes.
Tangible stuff that we can actually like put our hands on and sink our teeth into. Tatsuya Imai to the Astros. He was I thought he was like 100% a Yankee. That is why you have to be careful when we do this stuff, because he was wearing pinstripes as far as the internet was concerned, and as far as general baseball fans were concerned. He signs for $54 million over 3 years to go to Houston. I like that signing for him. He's a guy I haven't seen pitch, so it's hard to have a good take. I think the best take on it is like, haha, Yankees, like, what are you guys doing?
I mean, anytime a team in our division doesn't get a guy they want and they get rattled as a Blue Jays fan, you got to love that a little bit. It's ultimately going to come down to how good Imai is for these next 3 seasons, right? If he's terrible, then, well, we kind of want him to be on the Yankees, right? But if he's good, and all of us think he's going to be a very good quality major leaguer, then yeah, you want to get him kind of away. The National League's the best, but if it's not going to be in the National League, the American League Central or West sounds much better, where we might only have to face him once a year. So very good. I'm with you. Anytime we get a chance to laugh at the Yankees, I'm all for it. What's been their biggest move so far this offseason? Was it re-signing Ahmed Rosario and Paul Blackburn to their bullpen? The Yankees haven't done much. Yeah, their ownership is screaming that they're poor. I think they're for years of the Blue Jays playing little brother, we've hit our growth spurt now, and now we're kind of feeling like the Yankees are our little brother. And look, Owen, like, I don't want to turn this too much into the Yankees, but I think they overperformed last year to get to the 94 wins that they got. Like, regression is coming for that team regardless. And once that hits and that comes down the pipe with how injured their rotation already is, like, I don't want to say this, Owen, but could the Yankees be a 4th place team in this division? There is 5 even. Yeah. Like, you can make the case that Tampa and Baltimore can be better than the Yankees next year. And, I think this is going to be the start of what could be I say this with the full caveats in mind, knowing full well the Yankees might win 92 games next year, but I think this could be the start of maybe a big downfall of baseball in the Bronx. And I say that tongue in cheek. That'd make me quite happy as a big Blue Jays fan.
Yeah. So I think like part of being a sports fan just in general is like, as much as you just want to like love your team and like be positive all the time, like I think half the fun is like hating the other teams. And there's not an easier team in baseball to hate than the Yankees. And what we got from the Blue Jays, like against the Yankees in 2025, was honestly like a treasure to me. Like, it's something I'll hold near and dear to my heart forever, because the Blue Jays dominated them. They kind of exposed every flaw that team had. And if the Yankees are not going to do anything to get not even better, but different, I have a hard time being scared of that team, just seeing the way like that they got thoroughly dominated, not even just in the playoffs in that 4-game ALDS series, where the Blue Jays won 3-1 and kind of embarrassed them in Yankee Stadium. But like throughout the regular season, thinking back to that 4-game sweep over Canada Day, George Springer off of Max Fried, and thinking back to Alejandro Kirk off of Devin Williams in the Bronx, also LOL Yankees for letting him go to the Mets. Like, oh my God, like, the Yankees, maybe not the juggernaut that they used to be, kind of taking a step back. I have a hard time saying I don't love that. I think that's awesome. I think it would be just amazing. It would be almost as good to see the Yankees finish in last place as to see the Jays win the division. Almost, obviously not for real, but but yeah.
I do find it very funny just looking at baseball that a lot of the Yankees free agents are now leaving for the Mets. Like Juan Soto did it last year. You mentioned Devin Williams there. Luke Weaver as well, also signing in with the Mets. Like, it's like these players have a choice and they're all choosing the other New York team over you. Like, the Yankees are probably going through a little bit of an identity crisis here, which the Blue Jays will take full advantage of.
Oh yeah, there's nothing that makes a Yankees fan madder than seeing the players that they don't like choose to sign with the Mets instead.
Right,
Like
exactly.
they hated Devin Williams'
Mhm.
guts, man, and I get it. Like he had a really inflated ERA, but I don't think his season was reflective of that ERA, and obviously not a lot of teams did because he got a big old contract to go to the Mets, and then the Yankees hated him all year, and then he signed with the Mets across town. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, it was a catastrophe, and this guy is falling because how could they let one of their guys go to the Mets? Shout out to Devin Williams for getting rid of the beard rule and then
Yeah.
leaving after one season. Just
Best thing he did.
Best thing he
for that
did.
team.
Yeah, he's a baseball hero, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, screw the Yankees, man. I think if we're gonna do this conversation, January 2nd is the perfect time for it.
Agreed.
AL East team that I'm a little bit more concerned about than the Yankees at this point. I think they're probably better than the Yankees. It's a coin flip for me right now, but they signed Pete Alonso. I'm talking Baltimore Orioles. Pete Alonso, 155 million over 5 years, big old contract for a first baseman DH type. But the way it transforms that lineup that was already like quietly very, very good, adding Pete Alonso to the middle of that Orioles lineup with guys like Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, who, hey, had a down year, but we know it's in there. Jackson Holiday. Like, I think that team's good. They added Taylor Ward this offseason as well.
Yeah.
I think that team's going to score a whole bunch of runs. And I'm getting kind of nervous about playing them.
Yeah, and if you look at the bottom of the Baltimore lineup, or the Orioles lineup as well, it's like they're full of young guys, full of potential. Like Samuel Basayo might be one of these best hitting prospects they've come up. Dylan Beavers came up with the Storm last year, hit really well for them too. They now have like Blue Jay killer Ryan Mountcastle protected on the bench for them, and we know he can almost single-handedly win a series for them. Tyler O'Neill, Canadian, who we'll see in the World Baseball Classic, has just had monster home run seasons. Like they're starting to look really good here. The rotation is probably the spot where they're vulnerable. They have made some trades there. They have made some small pieces to try to improve that, and that might be the way the Blue Jays go about it. But you don't have to squint too hard to see this Baltimore Orioles lineup as one of the top 5 offenses in all of baseball. And that can be scary for the Toronto Blue Jays here, especially now that they moved the fences in. It's no longer Baltimore. It's they're back to like a normal park. And, you know, I think about the Blue Jays in 2024, how we kind of underperformed and we ended up a last place team and then we soared back to existence. If you had to pick a team in baseball, it's either this Baltimore team or it's Atlanta in the NL East, that team that can make the run from worst to first. So, we can't take them lightly going into next year. We have to play good baseball against Baltimore this season. I just hope you can find a way and you can out-talent them. But I'm with you, man. They're going to be a good bunch this year.
Yeah, the AL East is honestly like just an absolute war every season. And 2026, I think, is going to be more of the same. That Orioles team is scary. The one thing that I kind of like that makes me hesitate, because that like the take that you just dropped there is like Orioles could be a worse to first type team like the 2024 Jays going into 2025. Like that's a take that I've had, but the pitching staff is still pretty horrendous. It's like it's really ugly. They've made moves, like they added Shane Baz, Ryan Helsley there, like remember that all the way at the start of the offseason. So like yes, like they've made improvements and they've done stuff to improve it, but I don't think they haven't shopped at the top of the market in that kind of sense. You know what I mean? And I think they're still like they don't have an ace. They don't even have a number 2 or maybe even a number 3 really. Like it's Trevor Rogers, right? I always get my Rogers is confused, but he had a really good season for them last year. I don't know though. Like, what are your thoughts on the Orioles? Like, I guess starting rotation or just pitching staff in general?
Yeah, so I'm with you on that. I will say they do have a potential ace in Kyle Bradish. If you look at like a per inning basis, he was phenomenal. Like he's accumulated 1.2 WAR in just 32 innings last year. You stretch that, which you can't do, but if you stretch that over, 180 innings, that's a 5 WAR pitcher. That's Kevin Gausman, right? So he's shown he's done it through the course of his career. He had 2023 where he threw a 283 over 170 innings, give or take. Like Kyle Bradish, when he's been on the mound, has been really, really good. And so you can squint and see a path that he's healthy this year, that workload takes a jump. He's up there. Shane Baz has always had oozes of potential, right? Like it kind of, if the Rays couldn't figure it out, then I don't really think that Baltimore can't figure it out. But there is a non-zero chance it just clicks for Shane Baz. He has the stuff there. There is a way this rotation can all come together. They still have some prospects down in the pipeline too that could come up and could do some really good things. So, they're a trade away, right? They trade some of these young prospects, some of these young players, get another pitcher. Maybe it's at the deadline, or maybe it's later to come this offseason. But we can't take them lightly, is what I want to get at here.
Yeah, like could you imagine that team? And I know he's hurt, but if this team brought back Corbin Burns, like this team would probably be, if not the favorite, close to the favorite to win the East, to win the division. Like this team is sneaky good. I don't want people to go into 2026 expecting the 2025 version of the Orioles. I think, they're going to cause some problems in this division and in the American League. And I hate to say it, because if there's a team that I grew up hating, being a big fan of those Jose Bautista versus Darren O'Day battles.
Yes.
Man, like as a kid, the Baltimore Orioles, like I legitimately hated them. And like to this day, it's just really funny to see the Orioles lose and struggle. And I don't think that's the version of the Orioles we're going to get in 2026, which is disappointing to see. Another AL East team that made a massive move. Well, I guess not a massive move. I don't want to oversell Wilson Contreras, but the Boston Red Sox made a trade to bring in Contreras for just prospects. Not a massive haul headed the other way, but like another like quiet, solid move that's going to help like an already good team get a little bit better. Red Sox scare you in 26?
Yeah, they're the trendy team, I think, in baseball that could really take a big leap forward. They've got a good mix of veterans on the field compared with a young core. And those teams that kind of take a jump earlier than expected are those teams that have that young core. Like Roman Anthony looks like a dude. He's going to be a guy for a long time here. I'm still buying Jarren Duran stock over the last few seasons. I can't forget what he did. I think it was 2 years ago now. Like that was Mookie Betts level stuff that he was doing. So I think that game, that player I think is still in there. So I'm buying that. Wilson Contreras is a good ad. They have a bunch of guys here on their roster. Maybe they get Tristan Casas back and can reach into that power. Like there's a lot of potential ways things can go. And if you look at the rotation, anytime you can roll Garrett Crochet out there every 5 days, that's a hell of a great place to start. So the Red Sox, again, are going to be a challenge. Remember, they won, 86 games last year, right? And there's just team. They were a wild card team. Mm-hmm. I really like the back end of their rotation, the Brian Bayo, the Connerly Early, the Peyton Tolley group. Like I really like those prospects. I think they're going to be good players here. They've got a recipe here, just like the Blue Jays with their bullpen, how they're going to try to mess things around and find things together. Like the Red Sox are going to do the same thing too with their guys in their rotation. And it's like I said, it's going to be a battle. Like they're going to be good too, Owen. Like my main takeaway from looking at all of this, and we haven't even gotten to the Rays yet, is that the AL East is going to be a fight all the way through. It's going to be so important for the Blue Jays to play well within our division this year. And I mean, that's true every season, but I think this year more than ever, if the Blue Jays want to repeat, and they should be favorites to repeat, these divisional games are going to matter so much.
Yeah, I think it's so frustrating every single year, and maybe 2027 is the year that we get it with the CBA negotiations and whatever, but we need like divisional realignment, because it's just not fair to these 5 teams. Like every single season that like they have to play each other more than anyone else. Well, teams like the Guardians end up in the playoffs every year on the backs of wins against the White Sox and the Tigers and the Royals and the Twins. Like that's just not fair. It's just not how it should work. You know what I mean? Like it just sucks that every single season we end up going against these absolute juggernauts, and I feel bad for them because they got to play the Jays. Like the Jays last season were the best team in the American League, and like we topped that like hardest division in baseball, and it was awesome. It was so fun to watch, but it's too few and far between for teams that are willing. Like, these are all teams that are willing to spend money. Maybe not so much Baltimore and Tampa, but these teams spend money. They're premium organizations, and they draft and develop well. They have premium talent. They're must-see TV, and like every year, teams come up short because they have to play each other so much and beat up on each other. And less good teams sorry to point out the AL Central so much, but like the teams in that division end up prospering because we in the AL East kind of beat up on each other and eat each other. It sucks. I don't know. I think it's a conversation for a different day, but it's something that has frustrated me in my time as a baseball fan.
Yeah, I've always thought it was kind of dumb. The two cities that are geographically closest to Toronto are Detroit and Cleveland, and neither of them are in our division. So that's never made much sense to me. Hence going down to Florida every year to have to play the Rays. Like, that just doesn't make much sense to me. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah, this division is too good. Okay, so we're 40 minutes in here and we haven't even gotten to the main meat of the podcast. So I have a couple of New Year's resolutions for our Blue Jays. Are you a New Year's resolution guy or no? Like, do you go into New Year, new me kind of thing? Like more time in the gym or what?
I already spend enough time in the gym as it is. I have made like New Year's goals. I actually did make one this year though, Owen. I want to read more. I used to read when I was younger. I haven't done it so much. So every single day I'm going to pick up and read at least 20, 30 pages. So the only book I read last year was The Franchise that Keegan wrote. And I want to read more than just one book a year. So I'm going to do that this year. So if you have any book recs, send them my way. I will take that. But not usually. I don't believe you need to start something on the 1st of January just because it's the 1st of January. But it just kind of so happened this year. How about yourself?
I'm not really a new year, new me guy. I think like if I want to make a change, I can make it anytime I want, right? I don't need an excuse to do that. But I love the reading thing. I think like whenever I read, I think it makes me a better writer. Obviously, you and I both write for Jay Center. And I think if I read like the day before that I write an article or the day that I write an article, I think it actually like makes I don't know if it makes my vocabulary better or gets my brain warmed up or what, but I think the words come a little bit easier. So that's a good one. I think you'll enjoy that. And shout out to Keegan for that. That The Franchise, really good read. If you're a Jays fan and you haven't read that yet, what are you doing? Go get it. It was super fun to read. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, our Blue Jays have a couple of resolutions that they need to make. And I want to start and point the finger at Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Jesse, he needs to hit 30 home runs in 2026. That's his resolution.
Yeah, or like I want to phrase it like he needs to just be the guy that we saw in the playoffs last year, right? Well, that guy's hitting more than 30 home runs in a year, but we've known this for years, Owen, since that 2021 season. Like, that guy is in there. It's always been in there. Why can't we see it during the regular season? Like, I don't understand what's happening, because in the playoffs, it's better pitchers, it's tougher battles, it's more games, and maybe that's what Vlad needs. Maybe Vlad just doesn't feel the stakes as much the regular season. I don't know, but that guy is in there, and very few people in baseball have the high-end talent that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has. And now that he's got the contract, now that we know he's going to be here, now that he's had a taste of that playoff success, it's time, man, to put it all together, especially now as we're getting into the age 26, 27 season for Vlad. It's time. Let's go. Let's put it all together.
Yeah, let's put it all together. Like, and he had an awesome season, like not an awesome season. He had a good season last year. Like, he finished with like a 137 weighted runs created plus, like well above average hitter. But like, I want to see the power numbers be consistent throughout the season. Like, and it's not like he's having a hard time elevating the ball. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know why we don't get like second half Vlad all season. Like last year, if I can find the advanced stats, that'd be awesome. But like, he hit 277 in the first half and then 314 in the second half. I know it's average, but like he only hit 12 home runs in the first half and 11 in the second half. So like, I guess maybe that's not as big of a jump as like you would have thought, right? But it always feels like he starts super slow and then he heats up around like when the weather gets warm or like the All-Star break, and he kind of ends up making his push then. I would love to see playoff Vlad throughout an entire season. And I get like there's ups and downs and whatnot, but I think that I don't know. I think he needs to find a way to have another 2021-esque season where he puts up that big like 160, 170 weighted runs created plus number.
Yeah, the 23 home run total is the lowest he's had since, his rookie season, basically, excluding the COVID season. It's just a lot of them just weren't leaving the yard. And, we're kind of nitpicking here because the rest of the offensive experience is fantastic. He's one of the best hitters in baseball. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, sometimes you need that game-changing 3-run home run late in the game, right? And there were times last year where Vlad was doing the right thing. He would take a walk, and then Alejandro Kirk would be behind him and would be the guy to bring him in. But I'm with you. Like, we know that guy is in here, entering his age 27 season. Like I said, it's time. It's time. Let's get it done, Vladdy.
Yeah, and I'm not worried. Like, I know on the biggest stage, like, he was literally the best hitter in the world for all of October, and that's when it matters. And they won the division with him being the 2025 season version of himself. So yeah, it's nitpicking, but yeah, it's hard to make resolutions for a team that had their best season in 3 decades. So you're gonna have to bear with me on that one. Do you want to go, or do you want me to keep going with mine?
I'll take one more here, and this is kind of smaller, but I want to see Daulton Varsho's shoulder get better here. If you remember last year coming into spring training, he had that shoulder injury. He missed the first little bit of the season. And we saw it play out all throughout the season. I was rewatching Game 7 of the World Series last night, and just because I'm a sicko like that. And the Dodgers, 2 of their runs came by sac fly, and they were pretty shallow fly balls to center. One he dove for, yes, but the other one was like a center fielder with a decent arm makes that play close at home plate, and Daulton Varsho just didn't have it. And he's so good everywhere else. I would just love to see that arm strength even come back just a little bit for Daulton Varsho. With these shoulder surgeries, you usually see it takes a full season for the strength to come back. I'm hoping with the offseason, the way it was, that he can come back, and we'll see pretty early in spring training that Daulton Varsho gets that arm strength back, because there were times last year it felt like he was a 0 with the arm. Like he was throwing out nobody. So I think that would just make this Blue Jays team even more complete if Daulton Varsho gets that arm strength back.
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't think Varsho was ever a guy who had an awesome arm to begin with. So like, it's not like he lost a massive part of his like defensive skill set when his arm was bad. But like, with that being said, you're right. Like it was not good enough last season. Like, I was actually surprised that like they kept running him out in center field. Like, and I get like the main job of a center fielder is that he has to track down the fly balls, right? And Daulton Varsho does that better than anyone.
He's so good at that.
Like he does it better than anyone, maybe in baseball in general, right? So like, maybe not surprised is the right way to put that, but like, his arm was a massive liability, and we made such a big deal about Aaron Judge's arm and how the Blue Jays were able to take advantage of that in the division series, and they did at times. Daulton Varsho got taken advantage of in the World Series, and you're right, and it's disappointing to see. And hopefully, I think you're right. Like, the shoulder surgeries, a full offseason of recovery, and back on a throwing program. Hopefully he comes out in 26 and that arm is looking a little bit bigger. A little bit stronger.
Yeah, we should get an answer to that pretty early in spring training. I'm sure somebody out there will ask John Schneider how he's doing. We'll see it in games too. We'll get the measurements. So I'm looking forward to all that. But go ahead, hit me with your next one.
All right, so I'm just going to call it the pitching staff in general. Can we give up less homers in 2026? Yes. In 2025, the Blue Jays gave up 209 home runs. That's more than they hit, which is like, I think that's a stat that's like sneaky surprising. There's a sneaky like bad part of this Blue Jays team that we just like loved and enjoyed all season. They gave up way too many home runs, and they didn't hit enough home runs. They gave up the 6th most homers in baseball last year. So in 2025 or 2026, sorry, I'd like to see that number come down, like get it below 200 at the very least. And we talked about a lot that like the Tyler Rogers signing is a step towards that. But like at the same time, adding Dylan Cease is like maybe a step in the opposite direction that you want to be going in that way. So I think that's just I don't really have the way to get it done in my brain, but I have what I want to get done in my brain, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting because they are losing some of the pitchers that gave up a lot of those home runs. Chris Bassett gave up a ton of them. Jose Barrios actually gave up the most. He's still around, so he'll be there. But Max Scherzer, Bowden Francis actually allowed a ridiculous amount of home runs.
How many did he give up
for this team? 19, which tied Max Scherzer, and 19 home runs in only 64 innings was not a good look for Bowden Francis. So we're going to be getting rid of a lot of those players. So we will see. Even Tyler Heineman gave up a home run. What do you know? So yeah, we will. I'm with you though. The thing with the Blue Jays though, and we saw this a lot with like Kevin Gausman in the season, is that he would give up home runs, but they would be solo home runs, and that's not that bad. But every now and again, especially coming out of our bullpen, like we talked a lot about Jeff Hoffman having the home run problem late last year. Chad Green, when he was still around, gave up way too many home runs. Like the Blue Jays did have a bit of a home run bug last year. And in the rotation, I don't mind it as much if they're solo shots, but it's in It's in the bullpen too. And like you said, Owen, when I was watching Game 7 of the World Series last night, 5 Dodgers runs, 3 of them on home runs. So again, it came back to bite them at the end there. And if they can just keep those in the yard, I'm with you. It would be something to get better.
Yeah. Do you have another one, or do you want me to go again?
Go ahead with the next one, and then I'll run it after that.
All righty. I got, I want to see Buck Martinez's name on the level of excellence this year. I think it's time. I think it's time. Like, I want, and this is kind of a morbid thought, but I want Buck to be around to see it. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
I want Buck to be in the broadcast booth, like the day he gets inducted to the level of excellence. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want Buck to retire and step away and then like have to come back. Like, I want Buck to have his moment in the sun, and I want Buck to be calling games and seeing his own name up there. I think it's well past time that he gets up there. Him calling that playoff run with Dan was honestly special. He's been like, I don't remember. I'm too young to remember Jamie Campbell calling games and like before, and then it's literally been Buck my whole life. Like, it's been Buck the entire time I've been watching Blue Jays baseball. So I think he means so much to this fan base and to the organization. He's done literally everything. Like Buck managed a season. He played for the Jays. He's done it all for this organization. He's given them literally. He's like devoted his life to the Blue Jays, and he's got to go up there.
Yeah, there are a few people just in general who love the game of baseball and love the Toronto Blue Jays just as much as Buck Martinez. I'm glad you made that same thought, because we need to celebrate these people's lives while they're still around, while they're here to say it. I've always thought, like, all the things we say at people's funerals, we should just have a birthday where we say all that to them instead. And Buck Martinez is no exception. I don't think you have anybody who's going to disagree with you about getting Buck Martinez up in the level of excellence, because he should be they should name the level of excellence after Buck Martinez, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I'm with you. We will see the spring training promotions or all the cool theme nights that they're happening will be announced probably within the next few weeks, honestly. And hopefully we get a Buck Martinez announcement in there, because I'm with you. It's long overdue.
Yeah, long overdue. And like, as a part of that conversation a little bit, and like the history and like the memorializing, do you want to see statues outside of the Rogers Center? Like, how do we not have a bat flip statue or a Joe Carter statue? Like we got like Ted Rogers up there, but like I would really like to see like some players like outside of the concourse, not on the concourse, but like outside of the Rogers Center. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I went to Pittsburgh last May, maybe it was 2022, and they have Willie Stargell out there. They have Roberto Clemente out there. Like, they have a brick wall full of all the great Pittsburgh Pirates baseball players. And the Jays absolutely need that. Like, Jays are 45 years old, 1977, since we came into the league now?
Like, it's 50 and like the 50th anniversary is in 2 years.
And they've had some very good historic moments across all of Major League Baseball. Like, it's time to start immortalizing one of them. Instead, we have that weird thing that overlooks the hotel of like people's arms coming out of the wall. I don't even know what that is over the bridge there at Rogers Center. It's time to get something up there. And I understand there's more than just baseball that happens at the Rogers Center, but that's true across all stadiums all across the world. Like, just get something up there, right? Especially from the World Series runs in 92 and 93. Like, you got to put something up there.
Yeah, they've done such a good job on like the stadium renovations over the last few seasons. I think like a finishing touch on like this chapter of like revitalizing the Rogers Center and the dome and the ballpark. A good way to like put the cherry on top would be give me a few statues outside. I want to see Joe Carter. I want the bat flip. Those are the two big ones. Maybe eventually like a George Springer one, like memorializing like the Springer dinger and in Game 7 of the ALCS to put the Blue Jays in the World Series. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't have all the statues like in my brain yet, but I need to see a couple.
Yeah, I'd want the bar to be quite high, though. If you get a statue in there, it's got to be very, very high to get a statue up there. But I'm with you on that. My next New Year's resolution is I want to find the Blue Jays to find a way to keep that magic they had last season. And by that specifically, I mean getting these unexpected sources producing at a high level, like getting your Miles Straw again to come out with these big moments. Tyler Heineman was on pace for the best backup catcher season of all time at one point. Like, I want the Blue Jays to find a way to keep that going. See if Davis Schneider can come in and run into some very clutch home runs. See if Nathan Lucas can still put his head down and grind. Like, these players on the back end of our roster that are going to be there need to find a way to keep producing. History says it's not going to happen. Law of averages says it's not going to happen. But part of the Blue Jays' big run was because they were able to get productive seasons out of those players. And I want to see if they can find a way to keep that happening again in 2026.
I agree. I think, and that was kind of the thing I was having a hard time coming up with some of these, because so much went right in 2025. So a good way to put it is keep doing what you're doing. Like they found a way to get contributions up and down the lineup, rediscover that magic. John Schneider, don't change a thing in the messaging or whatever. Like, make sure you keep the magic. I love that. I think that's perfect.
I agree. We can run through the rest of these pretty rapid here, but go ahead, Owen. Hit us with the next one.
Yeah, I want the Blue Jays to steal more bases. They only stole 77 bags in 2025. I think like stolen bases are a fun way to like not necessarily a fun way, but a good way to like improve your offense. Like they kind of go under the radar. Jays stole the third least amount of bases in baseball last season. Can we steal more bases? We have guys that should be stealing bags. Like I'm pointing the finger at Daulton Varsho, Andres Jimenez. Like both those guys missed a lot of time, but like they're speedy guys. At the bottom of the lineup, they should be stealing bags, like putting pressure on defenses. I don't know why the Jays consistently don't do a lot of that. What do you think?
Yeah, and we saw it a lot in the playoff run that the Blue Jays were more likely to move runners over to play hit and run. And if you've decided in the playoffs that's what you're going to want to do, I think stealing bags is a big part of that. I think George Springer led our team in stolen bases last year. Yeah. Trying to find that out really quick. And he's 36 years old and going into next year. Like that's just simply not going to happen. So yeah. And then Miles Straw with 12, Andres Jimenez with 12. No one else had more than 6. Like looking at you, Ernie Clement, you can steal some bags. I understand the Blue Jays roster isn't necessarily built on its high-end speed, but you got to imagine guys like, if Joey Loperfido sends extended time up here, he's going to get more than one stolen base, right?
Better.
Nathan Lucas isn't the fastest, but only 2 bags last year. Like, hell, Vlad was 4th on the team in stolen bases with his 6. So that number's got to be a little better. I'm with you, and I think it will. I think we will get a bigger uptick in the stolen bases next season.
I hope so. Stolen bases it's just a fun play. I want to see more of it.
Yeah.
Like they made the bases
bigger bags too.
Yeah, exactly. Like baseball wants them stealing bases. I don't know why the Jays kind of refuse to do it. Okay, Addison Barger, I'm going to call him out. Like a little bit of consistency in 2026, please. The weighted runs created plus by month, 38 in April, only 10 games, so a small sample size there. Really found it in May, a 144. League kind of adjusted to him in June, just a 113. Really found it again in July, 141. We're kind of like, oh man, like is Addison Barger the guy? No, because in August, just a 60 weighted runs created plus.
Yeah.
In September, he kind of got back to it a little bit with a 92 weighted runs created plus. Like overall, a solid season for Barger. And then we turned the month to the playoffs, and he was legitimately was Addison Barger the Jays' second best hitter in the playoffs? Like maybe
third. I'd go Vlad Clement and then Barger.
Oh yeah, Ernie. Yeah, fair enough. But because he had a 188 weighted runs created plus in the playoffs, he was absolutely unreal. Like, so if we can find, maybe we don't get the same high peaks, but if we can find a way to level out the valleys a little bit, kind of stay more consistent month to month, week to week, I think Barger is as toolsy as they come, and I think he's got as much potential as they come. And I think the key to that will be unlocking a little bit of consistency.
Yeah, the StatCast page oozing with red for Addison Barger. Still young, nobody swings the ball harder. If he can just cut the strikeouts, which I think were the big problems in those months that he was down a little bit, then again, you could be looking at him taking another step forward. It's not that hard to look at this Blue Jays roster and see paths where players can get even better, which is kind of scary, but I do really like that. And that's in the range of outcomes for Addison Barger here.
Yeah, and not to go too far astray, but Ernie Clement's another one of those guys, because like they say he gets a little bit more bat speed. Suddenly the home run power ticks up. He's a guy that puts the ball in play a ton. Like Ernie Clement could sneaky be a really, really good late bloomer player if he's able to unlock just a touch more bat speed going into 2026.
Yes, without losing the contact skills though, because that's what makes Ernie so good. If you can get the bat speed without losing that, and I think David Popkins is the right guy to unlock that, then yeah, you could be looking at a 15-20 home run Ernie Clement, and then all of a sudden with the defense and the speed, it's a 5.5 WAR player. Ernie Clement's not bad for a guy who's been DFA'd by 112 lost Oakland A's team back in 2012. So
this is the best part about January, man. Oh my God, we're talking about 5.5 win Ernie Clement. That's the stuff I want to hear about.
Mhm.
Okay, I got one more, and I'm gonna point the finger at Dylan Cease this time. Add that
Okay.
changeup, man. I know that one of the biggest things he's done on like the whole kind of like media tour after signing the big contract with the Jays, and he keeps alluding to the fact that one of the things that attracted him to the Jays was that he thinks the Jays have a good plan to make him better. He liked what
Yes.
Pete Walker and the staff had to say about what they can do to help him improve. I think that is at least a part of that is going to be adding that changeup. Okay. Add that changeup, man. Or at least if it's not the changeup, a splitter or something like a third pitch, changeup looks. I think Dylan Cease, we know he's as talented as any pitcher in baseball. We know he's got the goods. If he can just put it all together, he will be like a legitimate ace, perennial all-star type pitcher. And I think adding that third pitch is a big key to unlocking that.
So I agree with that as well. I want to add, also find a way to limit the home runs, which the changeup might do, especially against left-handed hitters, and just find a way to be in the strike zone more, because we can't be having these 100-pitch, 5-inning outings for Dylan Cease where 3 guys get on with a walk, and then they're very high-stress innings for Cease. I agree, because the stuff is nasty. If you can find a way to get the stuff unlocked to its full potential, you could be looking at a potential Cy Young type season, which is why the Blue Jays gave him $210 million.
Yep, and I think like his resolution should be to earn that. Like earn that contract.
Yes.
Like get better. Like be not get better, but like be you. Like realize the potential. I think that's the resolution for Dylan Cease.
But don't put too much pressure on yourself to live up on that contract, because we've seen that a lot in players' first years after signing a big money, where they try to live up to it. Yes, and that'll lead me into my last New Year's resolution too, is be healthy, Tony Taters. Just get out there and mash. John Schneider's saying all the right things about Santander. He said one quote that Tony's going to be huge for us. He's going to get a lot of at-bats. He still makes good contact. And yeah, maybe the 48 home run season's not there, but you talk about Vlad hitting 30. There's no reason why Santander can't hit 30 this year. I think he's one of the big key parts of this Blue Jays offense that nobody is talking about right now. And just get that season out of your way. Get that monkey off your back. Let's just look at 2025 as a blip for you and get to a healthy and productive Santander this year. Yeah,
I'm super excited to see what he brings in. And it's kind of easy to like forget about him, right? Like he didn't really factor in at all this season. And Sneaky had some like very decent plate appearances in that Yankees series. Like he was good. Mm-hmm. Like he didn't like have great numbers, but like I remember him putting together some very good at bats. Like lacing balls foul and stuff like that. Like I think he was on the verge of being a really, really big contributor in that series. And like obviously the injuries and the back problems, it is a problem. And if he figures out a way to stay healthy in 26, like why is he not going to be as big a contributor as you thought he was going to be in 2025, right?
Yeah, and just everybody got to stay healthy, whole team. You know,
the
best ability is availability. It goes without saying, but just find a way to stay on the field for every single player on this field, and the Jays will be okay.
I agree. All right, Jesse, you got much else here?
That was it I wanted to touch on for New Year's. I agree. We spent probably too much time on bullpen and looking around the AL East early. There's probably some other smaller ones I could come up with, but we will see. I do think, Owen, that the month of January, we are going to see some action across Major League Baseball. Like I say, give it 2 weeks. This is where we're going to start to see some of the big name pitchers come off the board. This is where we're going to see the Bichette, the Tucker, the Bregman, the Bellinger. Like we're going to start to see those guys get some moves on. One of them's going to come to Toronto. I'm quite confident of that. And when that happens, we'll be here to discuss it. But I think this is the time. We're officially into 2026. It's officially baseball season. World Baseball Classic's coming up. Like there's a lot of good baseball on the horizon, and this is where it all starts right here.
Yeah, we're getting close. We need these big signings. These big free agent signings to get done. I just want to see where everyone ends up. I'm super excited for 2026 as a year and as a baseball season. So keep an eye out on the Jays Center feed on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. We're going to be here to break down whichever one of these guys the Blue Jays get. Hopefully both. But we'll be here to talk about it. Super exciting. Jesse, what do you know about Jason Frazier?
Isn't Jason Frazier the Blue Jays all-time leader in relief appearances?
Yeah, well, not just relief appearances, but pitching appearances. Isn't that crazy?
Just pitching appearance in general, yes. Wild. The thing about Jason Frazier is that he took the most time between pitches that I have ever seen in my freaking life. I remember, I think it was Mike Wilner back. He complains about a lot of stuff, but he would complain about watching Jason Frazier pitch, how he would just slow things down and it would be dramatic, and he would eventually get the job done. But as like a spectator pre-pitch clock, it was a slog to watch Jason Frazier pitch. But at the end of the day, all I cared about is that you went out and you did your job, and you don't lead the Blue Jays in appearances unless you're good. And Jason Frazier had that. I think he was closer for a year at one point in there, got a bunch of saves, and good dude. He's part of my childhood, Jason Frazier, watching him grow up.
Yeah, Jason Frazier. I was watching some highlights of him. Like I was looking at it, I was like, wow, like all-time leader in pitching appearances for the Blue Jays. And he's up there with like the greats. Like number 2 on that list is Dwayne Ward. Number 3 is Tom Henke. Number 4 is Dave Stieb. Like, and he beat out all those guys. Just kind of a funny name. Like he was like a fastball changeup guy. And yeah, like Rafael Dolis-esque, where he would just take forever, like the human rain delay. Pretty funny. Just a fun name. A little bit of remembering some guys there for you. Jesse, you got anything else before we wrap this up and get out of here?
I think that's good. Just like I said earlier, big week ahead for the Blue Jays. I'm sure we will be back very soon. Happy New Year, everybody. It's officially baseball season. We are here. It's going to be here quicker than you know it. We've made it. I know it's, at least in my part of Ontario, it's cold, it's snowy, it's awful. But we will have the green grass of Dunedin, Florida in 6 weeks? Pitchers and catchers report. So we're it's going to be here sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm so ready for baseball season. Yeah, let's wrap this up. Get out of here. Go Jays. Happy New Year, everybody. And yeah, this is the place to be when the Blue Jays end up signing Kyle Tucker and or Bichette. We're going to break that down for you, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks. For Owen Hill, Jesse Burrell, thanks for checking out the J Center podcast, and we will catch you guys next time. Thank you for listening.